So let's begin by getting you all the updates on the NDA meeting that's currently underway in the national capital. You've had 38 parties, including the BJP, coming together for this huddle to discuss the 2024 agenda, to discuss what their strategy will be in lieu of what's happening right now in Bengaluru, of 26 like-minded parties coming together, deciding how exactly they're going to combat the BJP. So this is a 26 versus 38 fight right now. The BJP is essentially chairing this meet. JP Nadda is chairing the meet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also arrived for that huddle. Important, of course, to see what will be the takeaways of this particular meeting, but there's no doubt that the NDA allies will take note of what's been happening in Bengaluru in the last 2 days, and the fact that all of their political rivals have come together to form another alliance which could perhaps take on the NDA as well. Let's take this across to Aishwarya Paliwal. She's joining us live from outside the Ashoka Hotel. That's where the NDA meet is currently taking place. Aishwarya, good evening. What really have you been able to pick up from your sources on the inside track of the meeting currently?
Well, Akshita, very important meeting for the Bharatiya Janata Party and all the NDA allies. But let me tell you, we were speaking about the number 38. JP Nadda, the BJP president, in fact, yesterday when he spoke at the press conference, said that there are possibilities this number could swell to even 40 in days to come. So that was something which was very interesting. And coming from BJP president, obviously, means something. We could see some more parties joining the NDA fold in months to come. But yes, what this meeting will actually do is that, the swords are all out. It is an all-out war between the opposition, which is now being called India, and the people, which are part of the NDA. They will obviously speak about what needs to be done for the 2024 elections. Now, if you remember, Akshita, it was way back in January that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said and told all the MPs of his party that you only have 400 days left for the big elections. So obviously, the key meeting will be keeping in mind what to do for the big 2024 elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be speaking with all the party leaders, and obviously from here on, we will see, all the machinery gearing up for the big 2024
It'll be interesting to see, and I'd like to bring in Paulumi Saha also on this broadcast. She tracks the BJP very closely. She's also joining us live from outside the venue where this meeting is currently taking place. It'll be interesting to see how the NDA really takes cognizance of what's happened in Bengaluru, Paulumi. Just a few hours ago, we had the Prime Minister also very clearly sending out a message to the opposition and lashing out at this attempt to really unite. But there's no doubt that the NDA will have to take this threat very seriously.
Absolutely no doubt about it that the NDA will have to take this threat of the opposition coming together, 26 parties coming together to forge an alliance to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. It cannot simply dismiss it. There is, of course, the optics, the rhetoric which will carry on, where the Prime Minister will, of course, keep attacking the opposition and saying that this is a conglomerate of the corrupt, that this is all about dynasty politics and furthering family agenda, family first, nation nothing, is what the Prime Minister said today about this grouping of 26 opposition parties. But at the end of the day, this alliance, this grouping is trying to forge together the numbers. These are not numbers that can be dismissed very easily. Of course, if we start looking at their performance in 2019, the BJP, of course, had a spectacular run in that election, and the NDA virtually, swept that election with the BJP emerging victorious to a point that they possibly did not even need, alliance numbers to further their cause as far as Parliament was concerned and the House of the People was concerned. But the fact is that today, of course, the BJP feels weakened because of the fact that several alliance partners, time-tested alliance partners at that, have left the BJP side, which includes, of course, the Shiromani Akali Dal, the TDP, then, of course, the Shiv Sena when it split away, but, of course, a faction of it has come back with Eknath Shinde to the NDA fold as well. So the BJP is, of course, constantly working on bringing together as many alliance partners as possible. It's already, opened back-channel conversations with the Shiromani Akali Dal, where they basically need to agree on certain points in terms of seat sharing in Punjab before, of course, the SAD comes back on board with the NDA, especially because the matter which they protested on and stepped out of the NDA, the farm laws, the 3 contentious farm laws, were withdrawn by the central government. As far as the TDP is concerned, again in conversation with the TDP in Andhra Pradesh as well, we've seen Pawan Kalyan in the NDA poll today.
Okay.
Only a matter of time possibly before the TDP comes back. The JDS in Karnataka again, holding conversations with the BJP. So the BJP of course knows that these numbers are going to be extremely crucial. It cannot sit tight on the fact that it had 303 on its own in 2019 and it's going to simply outperform itself or redo that magic figure again in 2024.
Yes.
It needs to work hard for it.
And, notice how many of these allies that they're focusing on and trying to woo are also based in the south, because the BJP knows that they have to rely on some regional parties there to ensure that they can really increase their base, increase their vote share and seat share in these states particularly. But those images of the Prime Minister being garlanded also speaks volumes of who is at the heart of NDA, that the entire alliance is relying very, very heavily on the BJP. And that's not necessarily the case for the opposition. They're not relying on one party. They're relying on every single regional party essentially pulling their weight. When the NDA, despite it having more parties, of 38 parties, they're largely reliant on the Modi factor, largely reliant on the BJP, which is why what emerges, what are the takeaways from this meeting also will be very, very crucial.